Springtrap has been out for almost a year, releasing on June 17th, 2025. Over that time, I've picked up on a lot of common mistakes most new players and even old players with thousands of matches make. And in this video, I'm going to be going over them, so hopefully you learn at least one new thing to help you improve on your Springtrap. I know this seems obvious, but let me be more specific. Missing your shots when survivors are locked in animations. For example, dropping a pallet, vaulting a window, and getting unhooks. Whenever these scenarios happen, you are guaranteed to hit unless you miss. So take your time, be composed, and land your shot. If you have trouble finding the center of your screen, use the add-on Help Wanted Ad. It gives you a reticle that shows you exactly where your axe is going to go. Sorry to interrupt, post-editing JRD here. A lot of people have been asking for an orbital tutorial, but if you guys want, I can make a tutorial explaining everything that goes into an orbital, the mindset you should be having, and also a couple of lineups that could maybe help you if you get the understanding of it down. But anyways, back to the video. Another huge mistake I see is people not adjusting their playstyle to their perks and add-ons. What this means is you'll listen to someone else, follow whatever they say, while having perks that completely contradict those actions. They'll end up equipping strong perks and then completely forget to play around them. For example, if you're running perks like Scourge Hook Pain Resonance or Pop Goes the Weasel, these are perks revolved around hooking. But if you end up slugging every survivor, you're not getting any value out of your perks. Your build should change the way you approach the match, not just sit there as background bonuses. I am a huge victim of this myself, but at the start of the game, survivors are usually grouped up on generators. That is your best opportunity to start applying early pressure. If you ignore your doors and just walk around the map, you're basically playing without one of the strongest tools that Springtrap has. However, there is an exception to this rule. If you as the killer spawn in the center or very close to the center of a map, go to one corner. If you see no one, then feel free to teleport to the other side. In a game like Dead by Daylight, early pressure, especially on weaker killers, can completely dictate the entire course of the match. Bonus tip: if you have two overlapping doors, look up for the closer one and look down for the further one. Springtrap's axe has the heaviest weight out of all of the projectiles in Dead by Daylight. This means it has an arc. Because of that arc, you can actually hit survivors over walls, loops, and around different obstacles. This is where things like blind shots and orbitals come into play. Blind shots are when you throw your axe without a direct line of sight of the survivor, but predicting where they're going to go. Orbitals are when you throw the axe over a high wall like a jungle gym, so it drops down onto the survivor. Although orbitals are incredibly difficult and incredibly inconsistent to do, blind shots are the much more friendly one for most players, and if you're not doing these, you are hindering yourself incredibly. Most players never even attempt these, but once you start practicing, you'll get hits that survivors don't really expect. This is one of the mistakes that a lot of people make, and they don't really understand why they end up not getting certain hits. What ends up happening is players will grab their axe either the moment they see a survivor and they're in a good position to dodge. They'll claim it at a time where they end up having their axe too late, meaning they're not able to actually get the hit, or they'll claim it at a tile that is just really not favorable to the Springtrap if he has it. Timing your axe claims correctly makes them way harder for survivors to avoid, and even in certain scenarios, guaranteeing you hits. This was actually a trick that I didn't even know myself. It is something I did subconsciously, but not really something that I realized most people didn't know. But this is just a small mechanical tip, and it makes a huge difference. When you're going for an axe grab, you should hold your M1 instead of tapping it. If you tap too quickly, the game will sometimes not give you the axe grab, forcing you into a short swing, which just makes you not get the hit. Holding M1 ensures that the game properly registers the attack, so even if you don't get the axe grab, you will still actively be lunging, guaranteeing you the hit. It's a small habit, but if you get used to it, it'll help you a lot more than you think. People will often overflick last second as they're about to throw the axe. Typically, when you're about to land a hit, a lot of people will end up panicking and flick their mouse or their joystick a little too far at the last second when they don't really need to. This will often lead to you missing your hit. Instead, you want to keep your aim smooth and controlled. Keep your crosshair in the center, making small adjustments, not huge flicks. With the survivor you're trying to hit, another good way to do this is to see your survivor's movement. Do they have patterns? If they do, get in the center of that pattern and throw there. Something I feel like most people will know, but just in case if you don't, when you're undetectable, you don't have a blood stain. When you're undetectable, you don't have a red stain. And normally, survivors will use that information of where you're looking to be a dictation of where you're going. But when you're undetectable, that information disappears. So feel free to double back, mind game, and fake directions to get more hits. Against most survivors, this lack of info might lead them to panicking, dropping a pallet, or vaulting a window they might not typically vault. And against really good players, if the pallet is weak enough, this might force them to hold W to try to not get mind gamed. But if you know they're going to hold W, you can use that information to your own success. If you fix even one of these mistakes, your Springtrap gameplay and DPD is going to improve a lot. Springtrap is one of those killers where small mechanical improvements can make a huge difference, but the thing that's going to help you the most is just playing and playing and playing a lot. Unfortunately, aim is something you cannot teach in this game, so the only way you're going to get better is if you just play the game. So practice your axe shots, start getting used to his arc more, and make sure you're playing into your build. And if you enjoyed this video or learned something new, please like and subscribe, and take care.